Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. It is convention day, so I am up early. It is currently 6:30, 6:40, 6:50, so I actually need to get going a little bit, but I wanted to hop on this vlog real quick and just kind of introduce what is going on today. So if you guys are new here, my name is Savannah. First off, I run a small crochet business called 99% Coffee, and today is convention day. I have done one anime convention and I'm coming back to it this year. Basically, it's just a local anime convention, and I did it last year not knowing how my stuff would be liked, I guess. And it seemed to go really well, so I am going back this year. So we have to pack up and get ready to go. Thankfully, this convention is only about 30 minutes away from me. It's just in the town over, so I'm not too worried about travel time, but I do want to get there early because usually I do take about an hour and a half to set up. I'm going to try vlogging today, so it might take a little bit longer, but we're going to see. It looks nice outside at least. It's not snowing or anything. It's supposed to be 77 today, and I am wearing cargo pants, but it's alright. Anyway, so I will see you guys when we get to the convention. Thankfully, I only have 4 bags, a stack of crates, and 2 other boxes for stuff like my yarn that I'm going to be working on today and all of my materials, because I am taking that one box that my boyfriend got me to store my stuff in. It's handy. It is a little bit heavy, so we'll see if I like having it, but I do like to have at least some materials on me, like tagging materials and crafting materials, like the keychain chains specifically. So I did want to make sure that I had those up there. So, but I should be all good, so I will see you guys at the convention. Say hi. Thankfully, it doesn't really matter what these are, like what orientation they are, because they screw in and then the things just kind of go. No, not that one. See how that one is a little squidgy one? You want one of the non-squidgy ones. Yeah, not that one. Use this one. That one's a non-squidgy one. I realize that saying squidgy doesn't help, but that's the best reference. That's the best reference that I have, alright?
Review and storytelling. I don't need to know everyone's thought process.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Wait, something's going on here.
There's two.
It should be one more, because then we take this little one, put that in there, and then yeah, tighten it. I wonder if these are magnetic. No? You already tried?
I mean, they're metal, so put a magnet on them, they themselves.
No, I know. I'm saying, can I put a magnet on it? Because I have lights. I wonder if I can put on it. Okay, so this is what we're looking at 5 o'clock. So we have about an hour left. Sold the dragon, sold one of the sea serpents, a bunch of the mushrooms. The mushrooms are actually looking kind of sparse. But overall, everything's looking good. It looks like one of my lights finally went out, so I might have to replace that for the last hour, but we're looking okay. So I'll probably record when I get back, but other than that, Matt, there you go. Yeah, we got one more hour to go, and then I will go ahead and pack up. Hey guys, and welcome finally to the recap of Karoshi Con 2025 and how the entire event went. It's been almost an entire 2 months now since this event happened, so yeah, it's been a while. I had a lot of issues, I should say, with the video and a few other issues going on between then and now. It just got really busy, and now of course it's been 2 months and I have not posted anything about the event. Anyway, I hope I can get back to making some more videos soon, because I do have 3 events that I've now done since Karoshi Con, as well as a few others, so I definitely want to get back on the train. I just have not had the time to do that. But anyway, so for those of you that are not aware of what Karoshi Con is a one-day event hosted by the NIU Anime Association on the campus of Northern Illinois University. It is usually hosted around Easter time. I think this year it was about a month before Easter. But I know in previous years it has been like that weekend of Easter, so it kind of depends, I guess, when they can actually rent out the convention area that they use. They use like the student body main areas for it usually, so sometimes I know they kind of have to work around other events that are going on in the school. I did it once last year. Well, I guess this is my third time at the event. I've done it once last year, and then before that, in about 2016 or so, I helped out my cousin with it because they were doing the event as well as a vendor in 2016, so I just helped them out since I'm in the area. This event is kind of perplexing, actually. I always kind of wonder how they have such a good turnout. Like, the event has way more people that turn out to it than you would expect for a small college con. And I did really well at it this year. I did really well at it last year. My cousin's done well at it previous years. So I don't know really how they advertise this event because I never see them post about anything like on Facebook, Instagram to local like ad groups or anything like that. And I also don't see them posting it anywhere else really. Like, I think the Facebook event for it had like 53 people attending, but there was definitely like way more than 50 people attending, so I'm not sure how they actually advertise. Maybe they put flyers up around campus, but even as a student, I don't remember seeing a ton of flyers for this event. So I don't know exactly what they do, but however they're advertising it, they're doing it well. I don't know how they're doing it. But I'm not going to question it because it did have a really good turnout again this year. I did have Matt helping me out this weekend because I need somebody to help me out usually for these events, and Matt is pretty tall, and I was using some new hardware that definitely needed somebody that was taller than 5 foot nothing to do. So I'm glad that he was able to help me out with it because I don't think I could have gotten that up without him. The nice thing about this event is also that it's indoors, so it's not really affected by the weather. It did rain a little bit this year, but usually the weather doesn't matter that much, so I'm not gonna go into the weather. Well, Matt did get soaked. I didn't. He did because he was grabbing a few extra things for me from the car while I was actually setting up, and he came back in soaking wet. So I'm glad that I had an extra blanket that I could just toss him, but it didn't really affect sales or anything that day, at least. Overall, the convention was great. I know this video says like, oh, let's finally talk about Karoshi Con, and when you see that, you might be thinking like, oh no, something happened, since it's been so long. No, it was fantastic, no issues, very well organized. We did get a lot of communication from the staff for the convention, which is kind of surprising because they're all students, and I know it's like during midterms, so it's not exactly the best timing for the students. But they were all very easy to communicate with, very easy, very responsive. There was some minor issues, I would say, at the very beginning of the convention where they didn't have the table numbers put out yet, but it wasn't that difficult because they had given us like a chart with all of the table numbers and where we were located at beforehand. So if you looked at the chart, you could just kind of guess where you're going to be at, and usually you'd be correct. They didn't have like any kind of weird wonky tables or anything. It was mostly just the numbers weren't on the tables themselves just yet, which is fine. I had to ask like 1 or 2 people just to make sure that I was in the right spot and like oriented correctly, but it was pretty easy to do. So yeah, so this event not only was just great in general, like communications and such, but it was also my highest grossing event in the history of my small business. Which was pretty fantastic. Last year was also the highest grossing event at the time, but I even beat last year's total. I've never expect to do this well at events, but I always prepare just in case I do that well. So this year I did get into the 4 figures for the second time in my entire convention career, or my entire vendor career, whatever you want to call it. I was extremely surprised, especially given that like the current economic climate is not that great. But there is a few things that I think kind of went into that number being so high this time around. The first and main one that I'm thinking is that there was no other crochet vendors there, which I'm really surprised by. Last year there was a few of us. I don't know if there was anyone doing the same stuff that I was, but there was a few other crocheters last year that were kind of located a little bit further away from me, but I still saw some other plushies, around the vendor home. But this time I didn't see anything, and I didn't think anything of it until I started walking around myself, and I was like, there's no one here doing crochet stuff. So that was extremely surprising. So I literally had no competition. There was people that did stop by my booth that was like, oh my god, I crochet, I never thought about doing it for Artist Alley. I thought that was kind of funny because last year there was like 3 or 4 other crocheters, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if just no other crocheters applied or what happened. I think that is probably the #1 reason why my numbers were so high. It's also kind of like the first event of the year for a lot of people. I don't know if a lot of people go to other conventions outside of this area, I guess, but there was a lot of people mentioning that it was their first convention of the year, that they were so excited to kick off convention season. So that could have also helped. It could have also helped that I am a local seller, so I'm kind of somewhat known in the area. Like, I have seen people where they're like, oh yeah, I love your stuff, you know, I buy from you at the consignment store all the time. And it was different because I've never heard that before, but some people were like, oh yeah, I already have something of yours, oh I already purchased something last year, I'm gonna purchase again. So maybe that's also why, because it's a local event and I specifically sell very local. I don't sell like in the Chicago area very often. I usually sell like in this little, like probably 30-mile radius. So that could have also helped as well. Getting into the best sellers and what actually did sell, the cats were my best sellers once again. Last year my cats were the best sellers. I think I sold like 20 cats last year. No, I think I sold like 15 or 14 cats last year. I didn't sell out, but I sold most of them. Well, this year I did sell out. I sold 16 cats, and that is all that I made for this event. And I probably should have made a lot more. I didn't think about it. I just kind of was like, we'll see how they do, because this is the first time that I have this specific cat pattern. So I decided to just kind of let them go and see what happened. Well, I sold 16 of those. The second place for bestsellers was once again the chubby ducks. And I did add 1 duck to my lineup this year, so I had the mallard with me. I think I had a lovebird, a budgie, a chick, and a penguin, and then I also added a goose this year. I wanted to do a Canadian goose because NIU kind of has a lot of Canadian geese hanging around, but I did not get around to it, so I just had the regular white and orange goose, and I sold 11 geese total, or 11 ducks total. So the third best seller would be the mini turtles, and the mini turtles I do the different fruits. So strawberries, I did some sunflowers, kiwis, and watermelon. I did not do blueberries this year. I will probably do blueberries again this summer. After the mini turtles was mushrooms, of course, little itty bitty mushroom pops. Those are always popular. I'm okay with them. I love the pattern, but I've made so many at this point that I'm like, can they just be done already? So the mushrooms were a good seller though. And then the chubby axolotls, which is my own pattern, was also a good seller. I sold 5 of those, and I sold 5 of the lily pad frogs. And those are the first time that I brought the lily pad frogs actually to this convention, because last year people were like, oh, do you have any frogs? So I wanted to add some kind of frog that was kind of in my style. Bunnies were also a big seller, surprisingly, and I don't know if they sold like the best. I think that I sold like 5 of them along with the axolotls and the frogs, so I can add them here anyway. But the bunnies were also really popular. It could have also been because Easter was coming up, but I did sell out of the little baby bunnies. Some honorable mentions that I do have is I did sell one of the big sea serpents. I brought 3 sea serpents with me. I sold 1 of them. The person that actually bought this one, they kind of came over, they molded around a little bit. They were like, do I want to buy this? I don't know, I'll come back. Someone else came over, said, I don't know if I want to buy it, you know, I'm gonna think about it, I'll come back. The first person came over and ended up buying it. So that was a surprise. I never expect to sell the big items, but when they do sell, I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. The next item that did sell, that was one of the big ones, was the large dragon, and this is Harvey, the one that I made that's red and black and gold, and it's named after one of my friends' like hockey teams. I think it was the one that I posted on Instagram. I was like, hey guys, what do you guys want to, you know, name this? What would you name this one? And she said Harvey, and I was like, oh, that's a good name, I'll go ahead and name it that. So that one sold, and then also my newest teal unicorn sold. It was one of the ones I made with Sweet Snuggles Light, which, rest in peace, Sweet Snuggles Light. I don't know what's going on with it still, but I hope it comes back soon, because that is my favorite yarn to make stuffed animals out of, because it turned out just like the perfect size. Just to kind of jog your memory, here is a picture of my setup last year, and here is a picture of my setup this year. So I did have a few changes, and also I'm looking down a lot because I have my notes on my phone. just because that's a little bit easier for me. But last year I did have signs that were handwritten on chalkboards and whatnot. I had issues with some people not knowing the price. I had some issues with some people saying, oh, you didn't tell me sales tax was going to be added to that. So this year I wanted to make sure that it was extremely clear that the price is what it is, what is printed, because handwriting can sometimes be difficult to read, so I did print them out this time. And I also wanted to make sure that people understood that sales tax was added at the end on to the price that is listed. So I did add plus sales tax at the bottom of every single product so that way people know that sales tax has to be added. I did this time also offer a 10% off discount if you did sign up for my email list. I'm trying to build my email list a little bit for the local area and for the United States in general. So I had this offer where you would receive 10% off your entire purchase if you sign up for my email list. I did have one person take me up on that, and immediately after they unsubscribed. So I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe we won't do that. So I only did it at Karoshi Con. I did not do it at any of my other events just yet. I'm kind of deciding if I want to continue to do that or if I just want to have an email list sign up out. If you have any ideas on that, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm kind of at a loss of what to do exactly, because I don't want to be like, hey guys, you have to sign up for my emails or anything like that. Definitely do want to put out there that people can sign up to receive promotions and updates and all that other stuff from me. So that was new. That was a failure. I think I mentioned it in my last video too about how I was trying it out this year, but I had some new items this year. Like the sea serpents were brand new, the dragons were brand new, the cats were a new pattern. I did have the AQ crochet patterns last year, and those also sold really well, but I just kind of wanted to change it up and use a different pattern this year. So I have the new version of the cats that was really well received. I had some new turtle versions, like some new fruit turtles, and those were really well received, specifically the kiwi. The kiwi was really popular. And the hanging plants were also new. And those hanging plants are a pattern that I have it written down in my Notion and I just kind of use it. I don't really have it out right now. The only new pattern that I have that I did bring was Snoot. Snoot is my little Triceratops buddy. I just released him at the end of last month, and he is available for free on my blog and as a PDF download. I'll put the link down below if you guys are interested in him, but he's like the most recent pattern that I've released. And I also had the chubby axolotls that were also new, and those are also a pattern that I wrote. But once again, it's just one that I have on my Notion right now. I have not gotten around to actually writing it up as a PDF or anything yet. I'll get around to it eventually, maybe. Something else that I brought that was new was I did try to add some height with like a little balloon stand above my desk. And it's just like a bar that goes over and you just attach it with like clamps. I think it kind of hid some of the stuff a little bit in the background. Like some people did notice the items that were on it, but it also was a really good way to kind of have items blend into the background. So if I do it again next year, I will probably put like a curtain as like a backdrop up there with them, just because they've really just kind of disappeared. So I need to think about that one a little bit. I also don't think that I can use that anymore at outdoor markets, just because it was very flimsy when it was on the tables, because the tables were not exactly flat underneath. So like if we bumped the table, they were kind of wiggling around. I did not like that at all. I was in the exact same spot as I was last year, I think. Maybe one row over, but I'm pretty sure I was in the exact same spot. I don't know. I mean, I guess next year we'll see. I was kind of debating on if I should get a 10 by 10 space, but I didn't want to because I was afraid that it wouldn't be as much traffic, but they seem to do well still. They seem to say that everything was still going pretty well. So overall, the convention was fantastic. I will definitely be back next year if they will have me. This convention does focus a lot more on local artists and people that are just in general closer to the area. Karoshi Con was good. I definitely recommend it if you are in the area. This video was a long time in the making. Like I said before, I have had some issues with just a lot of things going on. In a few months, I'm going to be moving in with my boyfriend, so it's gonna be a busy few months. I do also have a bunch of events scheduled. I have also received a few emails about craft events starting up in the area, you know, wanting to find new vendors and stuff. So it's gonna be a busy summer for sure. I'll try to keep up with the videos a little bit better. I am definitely going to post this one as soon as I can because I would like to get this up and done and not have to think about it again for a little while, because it's just I don't have enough capacity in my brain to actually focus on all this. But I do have to go and get some product photos done because I am doing a launch on Friday, May 30th. So I am updating my website with the new items that I have, like giraffes. I have some elephants that I need to upload still. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy summer for sure. But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did like today's video, be sure to subscribe down below, give a thumbs up, and leave a comment, and let me know what you think about the 10% off coupon codes, or like how you would implement something like that, like an incentive to do the email list signups, because obviously I'm not very good at it. I would love to have an email list that's a little bit more robust, so I definitely need to look more into it. But okay, so I'm going to go work on the product photos and all that, and I will hopefully see you guys again next week.